Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for joining us here today. Obviously, I'm Ricardo with Phastek Performance, and here we are to talk to you guys a little bit about some spring cleaning and spring upgrades and everything we got going on. Now, you might be asking yourself, why spring upgrades and stuff like that? Well, spring is just around the corner, although Mother Nature has decided to change things a little bit right now. I mean, half the country is, pretty cold right now. So, I know here in Texas, we were a little cold this morning. We are warming up to be a nice fine day today. The sun is out right now, so it's really nice. Turned out to be a really nice afternoon. But anyways, we're here to talk about Camaro upgrades, right? Why not? We got a few Camaro things here going on. Now, some of these things you guys might have heard of. Some of you guys might have thought about doing this. Who knows? You guys have different ideas, different things going on through your head. You have different modifications, maybe sitting around the garage. Y'all are in the winter. You're ready for that springtime to come on and get those modifications installed, put on, ready to go in the car, right? Well, I'm here to talk about a few things that you might have sitting in your garage, a few things that you might not have sitting in your garage you might have been thinking about, just so that way you guys have the idea of what exactly is going on, what we can do. Okay, so some spring mods, what kind of goes into spring and what happens? A lot of racetracks start to open up, a lot of car shows start to happen, people start to come out and enjoy the nice sunny weather, right? Why not? So what you do is that you have a whole bunch of stuff that's sitting in your garage, okay? You're ready for that warm weather to kick in. Maybe this weekend for you guys, the weather is warming up, sun's coming out. So you're gonna get out in the garage, right? So what are you gonna put on? Maybe you got some caliper covers, excuse me. You got some caliper covers there, maybe you have a cold air intake. Maybe you guys have a new set of wheels, right? Who knows? Maybe a new set of wheels. This is a drag wheel, so if you got this wheel on your car, that means you're ready to do some business, right? Right, ready to do some business. Maybe you want to do some vertical doors. Who knows? These nice hinges right here, nice solid piece. Maybe you have some side rockers. I have some side rockers here that I'm going to show you guys here in a second off to the side. But these things kind of all go along with spring mods and spring getting your stuff out there and starting to enjoy that nice warm weather. So caliper covers. We'll kind of jump into the caliper covers a little bit. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking, you know what? I have the wheels, right? I have the wheels. Maybe you got a nice fresh set of MRR. I got a set of MRR sitting over here up to the side. Maybe you got a nice set of wheels. You got these upgraded. You already had these on the car. They've been there for a while. But you got these. What are these going to do? What are they useful for? Well, they're going to add a little bit of color to the backside of your wheel. Now, they do have different engravings. Obviously, this one is the yellow with the Camaro engraving on it. Okay, now they do have the red, a gloss black, and a matte black with a couple of different engraving options available as well. Now, these are going to mount right to your factory caliper. They're nice, easy installation, something that's going to be, quick and easy. You can do in your garage, 30, 45 minutes, hour tops, guys. Hour tops to get these put on. The only reason I say an hour tops is because it is a whole lot easier if you guys remove the wheels. I know it sounds like a little bit of a daunting task, but removing those wheels, getting these put on makes it a whole lot easier. You can kind of fish it in there. I've done it before, but I really don't suggest it because you might scratch your wheel, you might scratch the caliper cover. That's the last thing you want to do on something nice and fresh that's looking at these, right? So what these are going to do, these are going to mount to your factory calipers, okay? There are V6 and SS options, okay? Unfortunately, you 1LE guys, you already got the big brake calipers. Unfortunately, these caliper covers won't work for you guys. But for you guys that want a little bit more color, like I said, behind those wheels, maybe you've been thinking about powder coating your calipers, you want that extra color. This might be a cheaper alternative to get you that color just before you go into the whole process of taking your caliper off, taking it to a powder coater, disassembling it, and getting all that done and taken care of from there. But this might be a little alternative for you. So what this is going to do, okay? And since I have this wheel up here, I'm going to kind of show you what it does. As you guys can see, obviously, there's nothing really popping behind the wheel. On your factory setup here, you're going to have your caliper, whether it be here or here, depending on which side you're on. Okay, but this caliper cover, obviously, as you guys can see, it looks a little plain when you're kind of looking back there. But caliper cover, once you kind of toss it back there, adds that nice fresh pop color. Okay, now I know you got a black wheel, maybe you got some red accents you want to put on there. Well, they have the red caliper covers. Maybe you want to stick with the black. They have the matte black and the gloss black, so you can kind of do either one. You got some stripes like we do on our orange car sitting back here. We have some matte black stripes. Maybe you want some matte black color behind those wheels. Maybe you want the gloss black color behind those wheels. Maybe you got red powder coated wheels. Hey, who knows? You want that color to really pop. But anyways, on a black wheel, typically the yellow and the red are gonna pop a little bit more. But like I said, it's a nice alternative to really kind of get you guys going instead of pulling the calipers off, having to worry about bleeding the brakes and kind of going through there. So that's one of the alternatives that kind of goes in to doing that. It's one of those things that, hey, nice simple little upgrade that you can kind of do in your garage, no big deal. So moving on, cold air intakes, right? Maybe you just picked up your car, car's all stock. I have a 5th gen back here, that thing's all stock right now. Stock in air box on it, stock exhaust, stock headers. It's virtually a 100% stock car. What's some of the first things you're gonna do to a stock car? Maybe you just picked up a 5th gen from a previous owner, maybe a second, third hand purchase, and you have a stock car. Well, you wanna start modifying it, right? Those things are a little fun when you start modifying them, trust me. So you start getting into the modifications. Some of the first thing you do is obviously a cold air intake. Now this one here is the cold air inductions. A lot of you guys might know the cold air inductions and their signature look, which has the clear plexiglass window right here and allows you to see that nice big red filter there. Now this system, it does come apart, so if you ever had to clean the filter, if you got one of these systems, you ever had to clean the filter, it does come apart, so you can take this lid off and then take the filter off and really kind of go from there. But the system is a very nice system. This is their textured black system, okay? So this one is their textured black system. They do have a near chrome finish, which is more of a smoother finish. This one has a little bit of texture to it. They all will come with the elbow. Now some of the elbows are a little different. This is a 6th gen elbow, which has the MAF housing. Okay, some of the elbows are a straight elbow for you 5th gen guys. It's a little easier and a little different tube routing that kind of goes along with it. So the tube is a little different. Obviously it's going to look a little different. So this is a 6th gen kit. This comes along with it. Okay, it's got a nice provision for the mass airflow sensor. It's got the 2 new screws that you can put and bolt it down. And everything goes right together. Nice, simple, 30-minute install, guys. That's really going to kind of clean up the underhood of your car, getting rid of that factory air box sitting over there. Factory air box is good and it works great, don't get me wrong. But there is always room for improvement, whether it be looks or a little bit of power that you're also kind of looking for. Obviously, if you ever go out there and look at your factory intake, you can see how kind of small it might look. Obviously, this is a little bit bigger. It'll provide a little bit more air. Your air, what does it do? How does it improve power, right? Well, you can kind of think of your car and your engine as a pump, okay? It's an air pump, essentially, is what it is. Obviously, the more air you get to it, a little bit more fuel, the more power you'll tend to make, okay? So that's a cold air intake, kind of goes behind, or kind of goes into what you have going on as far as some first modifications that you might do. Okay, now, these are simple modifications, okay? Now, other little things that you guys might be thinking about, you maybe have stored up there, is some body modifications, okay? And I'm gonna pull a side rocker here off to the side. It's a long piece, so I'm gonna pull this side rocker here. Now, this side rocker, okay, is obviously gonna go on the side. Okay, it's gonna go on the side and it's gonna give you an extra little lip that sits off here to the side, right off your factory panel. That little extra is going to give you a little bit more attitude to it. And this panel, this one right here, is an ACS piece, and this piece is very nice, very smooth, as you guys can see. This is a primer finish, so it's not going to, you are going to have to paint it, whether you want it to keep it kind of satin color, maybe paint a little satin, matte black, a gloss black. But this side rocker here is going to mount right off to the side. And if I can kind of get my, you know what, I'm going to pull you guys in. Let's get my camera guy over here. We're going to show you guys here a little bit. Now, this panel, this rocker, I want to say, is for 6th gen, so kind of keep that in mind. But if you follow along with me, you kind of see the similar effect, okay? Now, the side rocker, you might be asking yourself, where does it go? How does it mount? Well, the side rocker is essentially going to go right along here, right on the bottom side of this panel, and it's going to mount using the pre-drilled holes. Mount using these pre-drilled holes. Okay, and it's going to mount using some rivets that they supply with the kits. Now, these kits are going to go right on. You do have to drill a couple of holes. And what I do suggest is maybe getting some clamps to help you kind of hold that rocker panel in place. So that way you can drill those holes and get those rivets put in place. But once that's put on, guys, this kit goes together real easy. And it adds a nice new look to the side of the car. Gives you a nice lower effect, lower look to it. It doesn't actually lower the car much of anything. You guys can see it's very flat, very thin to it, and doesn't go below the major body line. So it doesn't lower the car really any, but it gives you a nice lower look, filled look there on the bottom side. So that's a side rocker, okay, or rocker panel. Some guys refer to it as a little bit different, but ACS does have these nice, good pieces. Fiberglass, they are a very nice material. They're not gonna mold, or you might see some of these other kits that they flex a lot. They're made out of urethane. This is not one of those kits. This kit is gonna go right in place, and like I said, using the hardware that they supply, those rivets that they do. Drill a couple holes, mount this in place, not gonna have any problem. They're gonna be solid and go right on. They're actually on, we actually have a set on our 6th gen car. Put this off to the side here. We have a set on our 6th gen car, and they work out very well. So it's a very nice piece that's gonna add a little bit of an accent to the side of your car, and it works out great. Drill a couple holes, put a couple of rivets in place. Very fine, very nice and easy place to add a little bit extra to the side of your car. Now, those are some of the simple modifications. Those are probably on a scale 1 to 10. I'm gonna say the side rockers are probably about a 4. These obviously were probably about a 2. You know, light modifications done, and everything goes together. Very nice, very easy. So moving on. Now, we got into a little bit more extreme, right? You guys thinking, I have side rockers, I have the cold air intake, I have the caliper covers. What's next? Okay, but I'd like to show the car off. Maybe the car is more of a car show piece than it is a racing piece or anything like that. It's a little bit fun for you. You like to go out there, have a good time, and hang out with some good people, right? Well, one little thing, if you guys already have the body kits, you got the wheels, you got everything really going, but nothing really sets your car off more than a set of vertical doors. Now, you guys might be thinking, man, you're crazy putting vertical doors. I have to cut, I have to do this and that. I got to do everything. It's going to be a lot to install. It's really not, guys. It's really not. Now, vertical doors are the kits we sell. Vertical Doors Inc. Okay, those are the kits that we offer and the kits we have here. Now, the kit I'm going to show you right here, this is essentially the hinge. Okay, all the other stuff is all in here. That kind of little fine-tuned stuff that kind of goes along with it is all in here. But this kit itself, okay, you're gonna need these 2 big brackets, and these are heavy pieces, guys. Okay, you guys might be wondering how light, how heavy these are. These are a little heavy, okay, but they're big and sturdy. If you guys can see here, I think I can get you zoomed in, you can see how thick that is. Put my finger right there next to it. It's a fairly thick piece. Don't know the exact size of it, but it's a fairly thick piece, and the entire bracket is all made out of that same thickness. Everything down to the hinge that bolts to your door and the one that bolts to the car itself. So this kit, aside from it being very heavy, okay, aside from it being very heavy, it's a very nice, very sturdy piece. Now, you're not at the car show, you don't need your doors to go up all the time, right? No, you don't really need to, right? You park your car off in the parking lot and it's way out there, so that way nobody gets next to you and ends up trying to door ding you. Not a problem. The door is going to open and function just like a factory door, okay? The door is going to open and function just like a factory door. Nothing going on there, okay? It's like you never had them. But when you get to the car show, that's when you really want to kind of impress people, right? You got the judges, they're basing you off, they're judging you off your different modifications, your different stuff, your paint schemes, everything that kind of goes along with those car show judging, right? Well, what's going to set you apart other than your door kind of going up, right? So the door opens and functions normally, no problem. Maybe you got a tight space. I know these these car shows, some of them do have tight parking spots. Not a problem for you if you got a set of vertical doors. Because these doors are basically going to go open and close like normal, like we said, but then it's got the added function to physically come up. Now since I don't have the door mounted on it, and it's not mounted to the car, it is a little tough. But with that door, you got that extra leverage. You got that extra leverage that allows you to take this and swing it all the way up, okay? So now we got a little bit of motion, it's a little easier. So what you're able to do, you're going to take this kit and just swing it. So that's going to take your door from the outer position here and swing it all the way up, okay? Now you're not able to do it if you just open the door a little bit. You're not able to do that, right? It's got a bump stop right here that's going to prevent you from swinging that door up too early. Okay, so the kit does have to be opened full extent and then you go up. okay? So it's a nice solid piece, guys, and these are bolt-in. It is a bolt-in kit, okay? When I tell you it's a bolt-in kit, it's a bolt-in kit, no welding required. There is a little bit of trimming that you have to do to your inner fender, but to mount these brackets anyways, you have to remove that fender anyways. So you're there, you just need to trim it a little bit just so it gives that extra clearance along that hinge and that pivot point. I want to say it's somewhere right around here that it hits on the inner fender. It's got a little lip in there. All you have to do is just trim that piece in there. No big deal. Now you might be wondering, Ricardo, what about my wires? What about my doors? Maybe you have the ghosted door handles that we offer. Maybe you have those. What am I going to do about extending all those wires? Yeah, you don't need to. They give you extra loom. They give you everything that kind of really goes along with this kit to make it a virtually bolt-in kit. And when I say bolt-in kit, guys, you take your factory bolts and you put them right back in place. Okay, so you put everything right back on, bolts to your door, bolts to your car. You do have to do a little bit of modifications right here to your fender. That's it. It's not on the outside, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I got to get it repainted. No, you don't have to. And the inside right here, you just have to cut a little bit, and that's it. Gives you the extra clearance that you need just to swing the door. That's all. That's all you got to do. So it bolts on, gives you that instant look. The hardest part of this, honestly, the hardest part of this is going to be probably getting the door aligned and putting everything back together. The door does have to come off because obviously taking it off the factory hinge and replacing this hinge for it. So the door does have to come off. But once you get everything in line, guys, we've seen a couple cars with these kits on it and they work flawlessly. Flawlessly for years, and we've never had a problem out of these kits. 100% bolt on and you're good to go. Line everything up. It'll give you that extra effect you need to win that car show that you might be competing in this year. So it's a nice kit, nice effect, gives you that great look. Nice Lamborghini door kit, right? So anyways, that's simple. That's actually a heavy modification just because of the labor. It's very labor intensive. We got light modifications. Now into something, you know what? Maybe you got the vertical doors, you got the cold air intake, you got the caliper covers, but you need a set of wheels, right? You can run it on stock wheels. I got a set of stock wheels over there, ready to swap them out. Not to worry, not to worry. We got those options here for you too. Now I got a couple of different options, okay? Obviously the race stars that we kind of showed you a little while ago with the caliper covers, I have those sitting over here, okay? And now those, if you're putting those on your car, you're meaning a little bit of business this weekend, right? Weather's starting to warm up. What's happening? Those racetracks are starting to open up, and then it comes into Friday night testing tunes, and the Saturday is race day, right? Well, that's what the race stars are kind of come in for. The race stars are for you guys that really want to do some heavy modifications. You got the cam, you got the supercharger, you got everything kind of bolted on. Well, you need to put that power to the ground, right? You got some nice bigs and skinnies you were going for, and the race stars right here will obviously set you guys apart from getting that extra look. So you'll have the look, because they look a nice chrome finish, or a nice black chrome finish, and they also have the chrome option as well. So you have those two options there as far as finish wise, and they're nice and wide, and they can fit a nice good tire on them. Okay, now there are different sizes that you will need to run for the Camaro, so depending on what size brakes you have in the back, some of you ZL1 guys that have your factory brakes, you got the larger Brembo brakes in the back, you might need to run a larger wheel, or go with a small brake kit. Okay, that'll allow you to run like a 15 or 17-inch wheel. This wheel here, I believe, is a 17-inch wheel, if I'm not mistaken. It's a 17-inch wheel, so this is more for the guys that have the small brake kits. Some of you guys that run and have the larger kits, and maybe you have your factory Brembos in place, you might need an 18 or 19-inch. So kind of keep that in mind. Depending on what rear brake setup you go with, you might need to decide which wheels are going to fit and work best for you. Not a problem. Give us a call. We know exactly what you need. Okay. So you got the wheels, you got the race stars here, you're meaning business at the racetrack this weekend, right? But let's say you're not going to the racetrack this weekend, but I still need a good set of wheels to make myself look good, right? Well, you're going to the car shows, you're having fun, you're talking to your buddies, and everyone has the stock wheels. Don't get me wrong, stock wheels look great, but like I said earlier, there's always room for improvement, right? There's always room for improvement, and what you can do is set yourself up with some of these bad boys. These bad boys are MRR. Now these are the M755s. Okay, this is one of their fairly newer wheels that they have going on. Now this is a Corvette replica wheel. kind of like you ZR1 guys. Maybe you got a Camaro, you want a little Corvette inspiration, right? And you know, I mean, we're the little brother of the Corvette, right? Hey, why not? Why not? Nothing wrong with the Corvette, okay? So these are a little Corvette inspired. As you guys can see, they are like the ZR1 style Corvette wheels. This is the gloss black finish. They do offer them in a silver finish as well. And going back to the caliper covers, if you guys got the caliper covers, I mean, that yellow kind of pops. The yellow kind of pops right off of there. So I really kind of like the way it looks. You know, when you're driving down the road and you see just a little bit of color back there, kind of looks pretty good. So you have that. You have a new set of wheels from MRR. You got these guys set up. They got everything dialed in for you. And these are the massive ones, okay? When I say massive, I mean they're pretty wide, okay? I mean, look how wide that is. Look how wide that is, guys. It's a 20 by 11 wheel, okay? So you can fit a big 305, 315 tire, depending on your combination and everything you're running with. I'd probably stick with the 305 just so that way you don't have any problems later on down the road. Whether it's 5th gen or 6th gen, it depends on the tallness of the tire. Kind of check these product pages out so that way we have that information there for you in case you guys are wondering how wide of a tire I can go with. Now, there are guys out there that I've seen run 325s. The offsets really kind of play a big factor into the wider you go, because the wider you go, obviously your tire is going to stick out a little bit more. You are going to eventually max out the wheel, and those wider tires tend to kind of bubble out. So you go with like a 325, you're going to kind of stick out a little bit. 315, you're right about there. 305, you're right about level with the wheel. So it gives a nice, good, full look. If you guys have seen our shop car, that's got a 305 with the M228s. So that's a little different. So, but it kind of gives you an idea as far as what you guys can do. Now that's what I have for you guys today, man. That's what we got going on. Okay, it's spring around here. It's starting to get a little, like I said, the weather's starting to warm up a little bit. We're starting to get a lot of stuff going on, whether it be some painted accents, a nice cold air intake, some vertical doors, some side rockers that we got on the car. We got our 5th gen over here that we're obviously going to start doing stuff to. We've been testing and designing some of our X5 springs. So some of you guys that have been waiting for those X5 springs to come back, they're almost here, okay? They're almost here. And when I say almost here, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, don't hold me to that, but if we go longer than that, do give me a call and I will be happy to set you guys up and make sure that we get you guys taken care of. So that's what I have for you guys. Obviously, we're going to put some of these parts on these cars, update you guys with some nice, good pictures so you guys can see what the final results might be. I appreciate you guys tuning in. That's what we have for you this week. Tune in next week because we do have something that we do want to talk about next week. That's a little bit of a subject. I said we're going to be covering warranty next week. So tune in next week. I'll have Jason here with me. We'll be going over some warranty stuff so that way you guys can know how far you can go without really voiding your warranty and where we can go and what kind of power you can make so that way you stay within that warranty range. Okay, so like I said, we'll see you guys next week. I hope you guys had a good time. If there's any questions, anything you have, shoot us a message, shoot us an email, give us a call. Again, thank you for joining. We'll see you guys next week.